Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a hidden mechanism that keeps your favorite apps and websites from, well, completely collapsing under pressure. It's a concept that's working behind the scenes all the time, making sure our digital world actually stays online.
You know, this ancient bit of wisdom, it perfectly captures a huge challenge in modern tech. The idea that even the strongest, most well-built systems have a breaking point. So, in our world, in the digital world, what exactly is this flood?
It's data. When millions of requests slam into a service all at once. I'm talking trying to buy concert tickets the second they drop, or that massive Black Friday rush. That flood of data can cause a total system meltdown. We've all been there, right? Staring at that dreaded error page.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. First, we'll look at this digital flood. Then, we'll dive into why systems actually break. After that, we'll get to the solution, backpressure. We'll see how it works, and finally talk about the really important trade-off at the heart of it all.
Okay, first up, the digital flood. What does this flood of data actually look like under the hood? Let's trace the journey of a single click to see what's happening.
So in a perfect world, this all happens in a flash. You click buy, and boom, it's a done deal. It's a totally smooth, invisible process. But what happens when that digital waiting line, that queue, gets way, way too long? And that's exactly where the smooth process can turn into a complete disaster. Let's really dig into the cracks in the dam, so to speak, and see where the whole thing just falls apart. So this right here is what we call a producer-consumer mismatch. Just look at the numbers. You've got requests flooding in at 1,000 per second, but the system can only get through 100. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. The system just can't keep up, and that digital waiting line starts overflowing, which kicks off a really dangerous domino effect. And this is where the real danger is, that domino effect. First, the queue gets totally full. That overwhelms the database trying to keep up. When the database breaks, the app that relies on it also breaks. And just like that, one little bottleneck has triggered a cascading failure, and the entire system just goes dark. So how on earth do we stop this catastrophic failure? Well, this is where the hero of our story comes in. It's a really clever survival strategy called backpressure. So instead of just passively taking every single request that's thrown at it until it breaks, a smart system can actually push back. It's the system literally saying, whoa, hold on, I'm at my limit. It sends a signal back up the chain telling the source of all the traffic to just slow down. Okay, so it pushes back. But how? What does that actually look like in practice? Well, it's not just one thing. Systems have a few really clever tricks up their sleeves to manage this flood of data. The simplest, most direct method is called throttling. This is basically the system just putting up a digital, sorry, we're full sign. It sets a hard limit, let's say 200 requests a minute. And as soon as that's hit, any new request gets a simple message, try again later. Now, a much more sophisticated technique is called load shedding. This is where the system gets really smart about what it decides to work on. Instead of treating every request the same, it prioritizes. Processing a payment, that's critical, high priority. Liking a photo, under pressure, that's a low priority task that can be dropped to save the really important stuff. It's like triage for data. And this actually leads to a fundamental shift in control. See, the old way was for callers to just blindly push requests at the system. The new way completely flips that around. The system now pulls work from the queue, but only when it has the capacity. This is a real game changer because it puts the service back in the driver's seat, in full control of its own workload. There's another trick called explicit flow control, which is a bit more cooperative. It's like the system is politely broadcasting, hey, just so you know, my waiting room is getting pretty full. You might want to ease up a bit. This lets the systems that are sending the traffic adapt on the fly. Okay, so all of this brings us to maybe the most important takeaway about backpressure. It's not some magic bullet. It's a very deliberate choice, and it comes with a pretty big trade-off. And this is the core trade-off right here. On one side, you've got throughput, which is just raw speed. How fast can we process requests? And on the other, you have stability. Can we survive the rush without crashing and burning? When you implement backpressure, you are making a conscious choice. You're sacrificing some speed to absolutely guarantee that the system stays online and reliable. And this is the key mindset shift. That try again later message you sometimes see, it feels like a bug, right? but it's often a feature. It's the sign of a well-designed, resilient system that is successfully protecting itself from a total collapse. It chose to slow down so it wouldn't have to break.
So I'll leave you with this thought. The next time an app tells you to try again later, ask yourself, is it really breaking, or is it just being smart and saving itself? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.